Hi everyone, it's William again, and welcome back to our Best Practices series. Today, I'm joined by Paige, and we'll be discussing the importance of making the most of seasonal trends as an online retailer. Paige, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hi, Will. Thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure. So, Paige, by seasonal shopping, are we talking of moments such as unexpected trends, for example, when you experience a sudden drop of sales?
That's exactly right. Now, as an online retailer, you want to understand how seasonal demand is going to affect your business. When is your business going to be its busiest? When is it its slowest? It's important to predict market demands, and understanding seasonal trends can help you do that. We all know that people are buying online now more than ever, so it's never been so important to track your e-commerce sales accurately.
That's true, thank you. So, whether you're a new or an experienced seller, you need to understand how seasonal trends will affect your business. Although it's important to note that, well, it doesn't always guarantee sales. Paige,
Mhm.
can you tell us exactly what we're going to be reviewing today?
So, Will, today we're going to review 3 ways to best anticipate seasonality. First, you'll analyze your past sales. Then, based on your sales history, you'll plan out your seasonal calendar. And then finally, you'll use this calendar to forecast your inventory for the year accordingly.
Sounds great. So, Paige, let's say that I've been selling for the last 6 months and I want to get ready for the upcoming winter season. What should I know? And how can I look at my history to make the best decision?
Well, I'd say that there's a few things that we can consider when planning for the next season. I'd say first, start by analyzing your sales and pricing from at least the past 6 months. This time frame will allow you to identify seasonal trends and understand shopper behavior. Now, let's remember every business is different, and seasonal demand will depend on the unique shopping behavior behind your industry or product. However, that's what we have Merchant Center for. So let's go ahead and dive in to see exactly how this is done. So we're all probably a little familiar with Merchant Center already, but let's go over here to the Performance tab on the left-hand side to look at our sales history. As you see, you have a dashboard with metrics here for tracking sales history for any time frame that you want to look at. We said last 6 months, so let's go up here to the calendar dropdown. And it's already June, so I'm just going to scroll down here to year to date. As you'll see, my dashboard is updated accordingly. You can see the peaks and valleys during this time frame to see when your sales were at their best and at their worst. If you want to segment the data even further, you can click by product, by brand, or by category to dig in deeper.
Paige, thanks for the demo. That's absolutely a great way to narrow down my assortment to important sections. But Paige, now, what about the product level?
That's a great question. Product level is just as important as category level data. So in this case, let's use the bestseller report in Merchant Center. This will show you the most popular brands and products trending across shopping ads. It'll even tell you if you currently carry them in your feed.
Got it. Now, what if I'm new and have no sales at all? What do you recommend there?
We still have plenty of resources available in that case. I recommend looking at other metrics. I recommend looking at other available metrics like search volumes, number of clicks, page views on your website, and most importantly, make the use of the timeframes that are relevant to you, like weekly and monthly sales.
Okay, thanks. So Paige, now that I know my top brands, my strong items, I'm guessing the next step would be to tell us how to plan for the calendar year, right? And anticipate demand.
Yep, that's right. And this is the fun part. So it's important to recognize that seasonality isn't going to be limited to the big holidays like Mother's Day or Black Friday. Consumer behavior can be affected by almost anything, including life events like wedding season, back to school, changes in the weather. And a lot of people forget that even day of the week can have a massive impact.
Got it. I tend to forget that as well. So now let's move on. A very important point to our partners, which is how can I push my best sellers and sell them at most?
That's a very important point. You want to know how to sell your products. So submit your deals through a promotions tool in Merchant Center. Promotions are going to help provide better visibility. And Will, I'm pretty sure there was already a help video on how to do this.
Exactly. I was going to remind you. Please click below on the description box to see how to submit promotions in Merchant Center. And Paige, as a final point, I'd like to address inventory forecast. What are your tips here for our partners?
Well, I'd love to say that inventory is extremely important. So as you plan for a peak event, you should always be confident in the way you forecasted your demand and distribution.
Got it. But let's imagine, for example, that I have, 1,000 backpacks. They're all in stock, and I'm confident that I'm going to be selling them directly on Google. but my inventory has been allocated to another sales channel. What should I do there?
That's a really great question and a really tricky example. So I'd say make sure your channel has sufficient inventory to avoid overselling and unexpected order cancellations. Allocation is a pretty challenging exercise, and it can be really hard to make sure that you always have the right inventory at the right time, especially if you're new. So pro tip, slightly underestimate your inventory quantities to avoid this scenario.
Okay, thanks for the tip. And please don't forget about order capping. Up until you show that you can deliver according to our retailer standards, your orders will be capped for at least a month. Paige, thank you so much for the tips. It was super useful.
I was happy to help. Thanks for having me, Will.
So now it's your time to turn all these tips into actions. Go ahead in Merchant Center and analyze your sales. You should be able to identify all patterns in the last year or in the last 2 years, for example. That will definitely help you for the next point, which is to forecast your inventory. As Paige just said, you have to avoid oversales and cancellations. This way, you will comply with our retailer standards. And a final important point is to submit your promotions. You need to be providing more visibility to your products and therefore improve your sales. And finally, please stay tuned for the rest of the series to learn more about how to make the most of your business on Google. See you next time.